Hi everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Get Cultured podcast. So this week I had the pleasure of chatting with the queen behind the Quaint Afrowear movement, Gabrielle Clarke. She's the owner of Quaint by GSC, where she designs and makes quality Africa-inspired bags and apparel. When she isn't around her sewing machine or creating her beautiful contemporary designs, she's fulfilling another passion, which is that of teaching, and she's creating content aimed at showing others how they can create and live their best lives based on the values she's learned during her own personal development journey. So I definitely recommend you giving her a follow for a daily dose of positivity and inspiration in your feed, and you can do that by following her on Instagram at Quaint Balls, so that's balls spelled BAWSE. And whether you're watching or listening to this episode, you'll actually see an additional guest or hear a third voice, and that would be of my very good friend Ariel Oliver, who also joined us for this episode. So I hope you guys love it. Remember, as always, if we bring value to you and you love the episode, you love the content, remember to like, share it, subscribe, and if you're watching on YouTube, make sure you hit the notification bell so that YouTube can give you updates when we release new content. Thank you guys as always for the support. Thank you for watching, and we're going to jump right into the episode. Hi Gabrielle, thank you so much for coming.
Hi, thanks for having me.
Okay, so I really love your content. It's vibrant, it is valuable content. So that's why I wanted to reach out to you and have you on the podcast as I guess because I like your energy and you just feel authentic. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I was gravitated towards your spirit, like I liked you. And then you also have an amazing brand, Quaint. So you do bags, you do clothing as well. Yeah. I think you did swimwear, or you stopped that, or you still do that?
Well, I haven't necessarily stopped. I'd more say I've taken a break.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
But I know it's something I'm going to reignite at some point or another.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So right now your main focus is the bags.
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me about how you got started.
Alright, so first of all, can I look into the camera? Of course. Should I be looking at you? Because I want to make sure that I'm looking at the right place.
No, that's you can look at me, you can look into the camera. Really
okay, and this can be chopped out, right?
I'll keep
that
it.
Just okay, cool. Alright, so I started out Quaint. Sometimes I always wonder where exactly I should start in terms of the story because there have been many starting points to the whole thing, but essentially where it started was at Rex Nettleford Hall. So I was going to UA for about 2 years. First I did biochemistry and then I did dentistry. And in my year of doing dentistry, I lived at Rex Nettleford Hall, so I was living on campus at that time. So I was going to a party, Hard Wine, which is a soca party that most Jamaicans know. Yeah, I made myself a bodysuit, a black bodysuit, and
you learned from YouTube.
I learned that from YouTube initially. Okay. I started out making my own clothes with a domestic sewing machine, which I also brought to Rex Nettleford Hall, and then that's when I made that bodysuit for myself to wear.
So did like somebody in your family sew, or like
you just have a jump into sewing machine?
Well, honestly, my grand aunt was the one who had a sewing machine.
Okay.
She didn't really make clothes much, but I did see her sewing and I didn't ask her to teach me or anything. And at that time I wasn't like, someone learn how to sew.
Yeah.
I just saw her as my grand aunt is sewing and it didn't mean anything to me other than that. But I don't know if it somehow planted a seed or something. I don't know what the case was, but I just thought I want more clothes, I want to look good, but I can't afford these clothes and my mother is not going to buy me any clothes, so how can I get these clothes for myself? I just started looking up on the internet how to make your own clothes and I read articles about people making their own clothes and watch YouTube videos and then I was like, whoa, this is easy, like people just buy fabric, make the clothes themselves and you don't have to worry about sizing issues because you make it your own size.
Fit it to your body.
Yes, and you buy the fabric that you want and then you don't have to pay an arm and a leg for it.
So you're a problem solver then. Because most teenage girls just switch outfits with their friends.
Yeah. Like I do not. My mother would probably
kill you
crucified
if you heard somebody else clothes.
Yeah, because even if I should say ask somebody for $100, she'd be like, don't beg nobody for nothing and blah blah blah. You know how Jamaican rants can be sometimes.
And like, were you always like good with your hands? Because actually get up and say, I'm gonna sew. Because I have a sewing machine at home, but me not to come myself to sew because I don't want to. I don't want to match it up. I don't want to look like an idiot, you know. So, like, were you always good with your hands, or you just say, I want this. This is how I'm gonna do it, and so you just have to go do.
Yeah, I'm looking at my hands right now and thinking, I do think I'm good with my hands because actually before I started sewing, I was braiding people's hair. Also, I would do Marley braids and faux locks and tying people locks on them. So plus I actually started my own locks. So
you did?
I would say that I am good with my hands.
Okay.
Yeah.
What year was this? Like, give me a time, because was this like, what year was this?
When I was doing hair, or when I started sewing?
When you started sewing your own clothes.
I think I got the interest in about 2014.
Okay.
Yeah. Actually, 2013, I was attending St. George's College, sixth form. It's an all-boys school, but they accept females for their sixth form.
Who did you go to before that?
I went to Alpha, Convent of Mercy Academy Alpha.
Wait, is that the sister school for George's, or that's Casey or something?
No, it's a sister school for George's.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's really where the interest started because I had some very fashionable friends and they had money, but me never had money. So, you know, I had to like kind of see how I could get on their level. Because you know, as a young person, you're kind of trying to fit in with the people that you're hanging out with. And that was a way that I saw could work for me. I was like, actually started selling gummy bears to buy a sewing machine.
Okay, so you're naturally like a go-getter.
Yeah.
Not afraid to sell. So when did you realize that, okay, I'm making these clothes for myself, they look nice, they're quality clothing, maybe I can start selling to other people? Or did people start complimenting you on your clothes, asking you where you got that, and you're like, oh, I made it? Like, how did you go from hobby to business?
Well, you know, really and truly, when people were like, you should probably start selling this, I was like, no, I can't bother. Like, I can't bother with the whole entrepreneurship thing and like too serious and money this and money that and get really busy and all of that. Instead of it being a hobby, it's going to become a business now.
Yeah.
So I was kind of hesitant when people suggested it at first, but then, as I said, when I was living on Rex Nettleford Hall and I made that bodysuit for myself, somebody suggested that I enter some pieces into a fashion show. And that's when I said, you know what, I probably should do that, especially since it could probably be an additional source of income. As a college student, I didn't have my parents giving me any money, and I didn't have time to get like a 9-to-5 job or anything like that. So I just said, all right, I'm just going to take the leap. And I just went all the way, started an Instagram page, and decided that I would just make it a business.
So how did the name Quaint come about? What led to you doing Quaint and, you know, the Afrocentric wear and everything? What inspired that?
Well, Quaint is a synonym basically for unusual. So when I think the first thing I did actually was go to the fabric store. And when I went to the fabrics that caught my eyes were African prints. And when I had the fabrics and I designed the pieces, that's when I decided that I'll come up with a name, because I wanted to see what my creations would look like first. And then from there, I could come up with a solid name that would describe them. So
did you start with bags, or what did you do?
No, I started with clothes. I just made like some simple skirts with like a strip of African print in the middle, and like shirts with African print as the sleeves, and
just like little accents.
Basically, exactly. And I think I also made a romper too that was full African print. But when I saw the pieces, I was like, these look unusual, and I know for sure I want to keep making unusual stuff. So I was like, I really want to call it Gabby's Designs, because that's really cliche. Everybody who come up with a fashion brand, they're just like Gabby's Designs, Gabby's Styles, like this, that, blah blah blah.
They want their name and image.
So I just decided I'm going to take myself out of it and make it a name that would cause people to question, like, what does this word mean? And I know that every time somebody hears Quaint, they're just like, what does this word mean? And the definition of Quaint is unusually interesting, strangely attractive, picturesque, old-fashioned, something that's so like it's so unusual that you're just drawn to it.
Yeah.
And that's how I feel like my products look.
Well, I think you're doing a very good job, and you're seeing the results that you're getting from the value that you're putting out into the world with your products. All 3 platforms, I think, well, talking about specifically IG, have a good following. Quaint Afrowear, right?
Yeah.
That has a good following. Quaint Bags has a good following, and your own personal page also has a good following.
Yeah.
Because I think people are connecting with you as a person, and not just an entrepreneur.
Yeah.
Because you're so authentic and you share so much of yourself. And one thing that I liked that you shared was actually a post about body image.
Yeah.
Which is very that was like this when I read that post, because so many people do not know the struggle it is to grow in this day and age, or well, any day and age really, as a female. And you touched so many important points. So tell me why you felt that was necessary.
Well, honestly, growing up as a slim person, I'm called maga a lot, I'm skinny a lot, and in my younger days, I felt very insecure about it. It was always about fit girls and girls who have bottom and breasts and all these things, and the boys especially who I grew up around, they placed so much importance on that stuff, so much so that it made me feel like I was not enough. Like I just don't complete, I look unattractive, and unless I have big breasts and big bottom or whatever, I don't look good. So I just decided when I got a lot older, I was just like, you know what? I'm beautiful just as I am. And there are a lot of girls out there who are also struggling with the same body image kind of thing.
So how did you come to realize that? Because in the post I remember you mentioned that you're taking pills to gain weight.
Yeah.
What's your body journey been like? Tell me about your body journey.
Well, I've always been, well, not right now, but from high school days, I've always been trying to gain weight, and I've always just been slim. No matter how much me eat, I just stay the same size. Even if I put on like 5 pounds, all I have to do is just not eat in one night, I'm gonna lose all of the 5 pounds. That's just how it is with my body. So that's how I had to come to the understanding that this is just me, my body journey. I would say I have had my times where I think with the pills that I was taking, those made me sleep a lot. They made me eat a lot too, and I was eating a lot of unhealthy food, so it was affecting me, not only causing me to put on weight, but I was getting like a belly, so it never looks attractive.
In the right
yeah, exactly. Right? And I was trying to go about it in a more artificial way rather than a natural way. So a more natural way would be like working out, eating larger portions and that sort of thing. And even when I did that stuff, it still didn't work out that great. So I just decided, you know what? Whatever I'm supposed to look like right now, that's what I'm going to work with. Whenever I gain weight, possibly when I have children, then I'll gain the weight I need to gain. So I've had to come to an acceptance that maybe this is just how I'm supposed to look for this period of my life. And instead of trying to chase down looking another way, just accept this, because what if I'm gonna put on weight and I'm just like, damn, I want to get slim again.
Exactly.
You see,
what I love what I love about the post that you made is that it gave light to a body image that people like don't really talk about. You always hear about the bigger person wanting to lose weight, but you never hear about the smaller person wanting to gain weight. Right? And you don't, whenever you see somebody who is slim, you don't think that somebody calling them slimmers or girl or something affects them, but
because everybody's trying to get slim.
Everybody wants to get slim or that slim thick, you know? But that's why I love what you did, because it shows that people with a smaller body structure, they too are insecure about that, and for me, the importance of that was to acknowledge that this is my body, accept that this is my body, and just love yourself for who you are for this moment in your life, and that you're enough. You're enough.
For me, my struggle, I'll ask you in a second, Ariel, like what your personal struggle was, but my struggle growing up was skin tone. So like when you reach me. Everybody knows like colorism is a thing in Jamaica, right? And I used to wish like for lighter skin.
Like, I used to resent the fact that I was darker skinned because I would see how much better lighter skinned females or persons in general were treated and how they were put on a pedestal. So I thought I was less because of my
Especially
skin.
going to Immaculate, right?
Girl. Girl. I can imagine. Yeah. So, light skinned girls or even my hair texture, just, well, a lot of things, I guess, about being a black person. So that was my real struggle until the point where I remember in 8th grade, there's this girl who sat behind me, and she used to tone and to like bleach her skin. But she used to always talk about bleaching in terms of it's really not a bad thing, and it's just the people we see on the road that look crazy, they don't know how to do it right, and you have to tone, and it actually helped me with my acne and all of that. So she would like idolize it, right? And I almost considered bleaching my skin, like toning with her, like that's how bad it was. So I always grew up with a low self-esteem because of my skin complexion. It wasn't until recently when like this whole black love era kind of came about, like girls accepting their natural hair and their skin complexion, and then I also found personal development and realized that the reason that I was making so many effed up decisions in my life were leading back to my low self-esteem. So it was actually becoming dangerous. Like I was making really bad life choices, getting with the wrong guys, whatever. So I really had to like look within myself, accept myself, and then work on it from there. So Ariel, like, what were the struggles that you had growing up?
For me, it was my size, because back then the slim girl was celebrated, but I was never slim, and I wasn't big either. I was just always in between. But when you're on the bottom, everybody just push you over to the big side. And so I used to always say, I want to be slim, I want to be like this. And I'd watch Jam Fit, what used to come on 5 o'clock in the morning on TV, oh my god, I would workouts and watch all the fitness videos and eat right and and it just wasn't working. And it's recently, meaning like within the last 5 years, that I've acknowledged that I really just always going to be that in between girl, and you're just gonna have to accept that. And it's a process every day, because sometimes when I take a picture now, I look in the mirror and I'm like, say Ariel, you can tuck it right here, so sometime or whatever. But I've realized that how you see yourself is not how other people see you. Because sometimes you see yourself with an extra 10 pounds or a minus 10 pounds, but how somebody else see you, you're perfect to them.
But does it matter how other people see you?
No, but then that showed me that we are so extremely hard on ourselves. That's what that showed me.
I used to have like body dysmorphia too in high school. Like I would always look at myself and see fat and try and I did so many unhealthy diets to try and lose weight and be skinny. Because like you said, back then skinny was skinny was the thing.
Yeah, I mean it showed that I'm really hard on myself, and then when I'd say, oh, my belly look big here or my thighs look extra large, they're like, Ariel, what are you talking about?
And that's so true. I'm the heaviest I've ever been now, and I feel fine. And the other thing that used to affect me growing up too was my hair texture, because in prep school I had a best friend, and she was next to Caucasian. she was super fair, and she had very long straight hair, and everyone used to just love her, and we were best friends, so people were always comparing us, or people would always favor her versus me, and people would always pick her and not me. So I grew up with that either or kind of pick or choose, me or you kind of thing. I always thought that somebody was comparing me with somebody else, and so I didn't realize until recently that I didn't realize that I suffered from not being enough, not feeling like I was enough just the way I was. And through high school, I had my natural hair, it was fun. I always wanted to grow, and nobody else got away. And then in grade 11, grade 12, grade 11, I relaxed my hair, and it was fine, it looked good, even if I make it work or whatever. But then when I did the big chop, for me that big chop symbolized accepting who I am wholly. So I mean,
your big chubby hair low. So you have to accept your face for what it is. And I remember too, actually, high school graduation, somebody said something to me when I was in the line. Because I have oily skin too, like oily and acne prone skin. So I can put on makeup and like my face is shining like 2.5 seconds. And so that happened to me, and somebody said to me, Ariel, why you look so da-da-da-da, but so look better. And that affected me the whole entire graduation. My vibes did broke to the point where my graduation wasn't fun for my family either, because they would want to try to celebrate me, but I just wasn't feeling my best. I allowed her to get to me, and it was after that me and my mom, we had a talk, and I actually let her in on, you know, how like my self-esteem issues, and that's when I acknowledged that my self-esteem wasn't in the best place. That I said, okay, Ariel, you have to do something else. Okay, you can't continue being this unhappy. And so I think the graduation was a Sunday and prom was a Tuesday, and myself up, like I booked myself up. I said, okay, graduation did flop. Your prom has to be amazing. Ariel, you have to get yourself in a great frame of mind now, and that was the start of me accepting myself. And I think it was 3 years later I did a big chop, and I said, okay, Ariel, this is your face, you're gonna have to love your face. This is your hair, you're gonna have to love your hair. This is your body, you're gonna have to love your body. And so that was what, 3-4 years ago. And so since then I've been on this journey of accepting who I am, loving myself, and yeah, this is where I am now. I know I'm at a place, thankfully, where somebody can say something to me and it doesn't throw me off too bad. You know, once I'm sure in who I am and what I have, then I'm fine. I'm fine at this point.
That's what happens when you develop that level of self-love and acceptance for yourself. Like, it all comes back down to learning how to love yourself.
What I want to ask now is for those of the people who might be wondering out there, because everybody always says, love yourself, accept yourself. How do you actually do that? Like, what are the actions that you take to develop a love for self? Because for me, it was awkward starting out, the things you have to do in terms of affirmations, or like it's weird shit, but you have to face it. The questions you have to ask yourself, the things you have to unravel from your childhood, all of that. So like, what are some of the things that you actively do to work on loving yourself?
Meaning every day?
Yeah, daily.
Okay, so journaling for me is a big part of self-love. So if I find that I'm going through something that feels difficult and I can't quite dissect it in my mind, I literally just write it down on paper and start to question, why am I feeling this way? And then I would find a way to back up or approve the positive feeling that I'm wanting to have. So like, for example, let's say for example with me being a slim person, I could write about feeling like I'm skinny and like maga and like say I'm not look good enough and whatever, and then just be like, but I love myself, I am beautiful as I am. There are a lot of, as you said, there are a lot of people out there who want to lose weight. So I would write things down to affirm myself and just be like, I am beautiful, I am strong, I am sexy. And even if I am not sexy to the standard of what society has, I'm sexy in my own eyes, and that's all that matters. I don't need you to think I'm sexy, and I don't need you to think I'm beautiful. I think I'm beautiful and I'm sexy, and that's all that matters. So I would journal my affirmations. I would look into the mirror and I would say these affirmations to myself. I'd look into the mirror and tell myself that I love you. Just like if I was telling my partner or my mother or my father, I would look into the mirror and I would say, I love you. You are amazing. Nobody can tell us say you don't look good. You look damn good.
Have you ever been walked in on doing that? I have.
No.
I used to just walked in on you with my brother, and he was just like, okay. Just close the door. But yeah, you have to do those things.
Yeah, and separate and apart from affirming myself, I do things to take care of myself like somebody else would do for me, or what I'd want somebody else to do for me. A big part of self-love is treating yourself the way that you want somebody who loves you to treat you. So you want somebody to give you your food on time, if them love you. So you're going to give yourself your food on time. You're going to give yourself enough rest, because you would want somebody who loves you to allow you to get enough rest. So allow yourself to get enough rest. If you love yourself and you want to look your best, work out. if you love yourself and you want to have the best looking skin, buy all the things that you need to deal with your skin. So every Sunday, I do a scrub, I do a turmeric mask, I steam my face, I paint my toes, I paint my nails, and I just take the time out to just be with myself and just say, Gabby, this is your time. Every morning I wake up, yoga, meditation before I even attend to anybody else. And that's communicating to myself that I love me enough to do what I need to do for myself.
Can I tell you how you start today is so important.
Exactly.
It really sets the tone for how your day is going to flow thereafter. So you say, you take the time, you have to deal with you before you deal with everybody else.
Exactly.
So if you don't
because if you don't fill up your own cup, you can't fill up anybody else's cup.
Exactly. Like don't let in any other
that's
and just get right with yourself. So were you always vegan? Was it something that you learned from your family, or were you a meat eater and you switched over? Like, was that a part of your self-care routine because you wanted to give your body the best foods possible? Like, what was it?
Well, I just wanted to eat what was healthier for me. So I would say it was a part of my self-love journey in terms of the foods that I was eating before, meat and dairy and a bunch of sweets and stuff. It was not treating my body very well. So I would see where I have unhealthy fat, and then I would see where I have acne, and I knew that the acne was linked to things like oil and milk and dairy and the meat I was eating, and then of course what goes into your body is what comes out too. So of course there's all the bodily functions that wouldn't necessarily be so pleasant because of what you're taking into your body. So I just decided that I wanted to do this for myself, to lengthen my lifespan, and at the same time I know I want to be able to have children. So I want to make sure that my body is at its best for the time when I have to carry a child.
For me, well, it started out as self-love as well. Let me tell you what happened, right? So I was working at an event, and them setting up on lunch, and it was a big convention, and I went to the food court. What do you call it? Junk food, hot dog, jerk chicken, was there. So I am going to decide to eat a hot dog from a particular brand that shall not be named, and me go eat it, and no, I ate two. The next day I got so sick, so super sick, I had to come to work late. And then I said to myself, Ariel, you cannot continue putting shit in your body. You need to do better. And so I started, that led to me starting to prepare my food at home more. So, just another good podcast. But I'm not have respect for me. So I started cooking more and thing. And then the more research I did into the food industry and into what kind of food going to and what's good for you, that led to me saying, okay, vegan maybe I think. And then at the time, this YouTuber I followed, Carly Bible, and her boyfriend at the time, they were going vegan. So I said, let me test this out and see, if it can work. So that led to me eating all plant-based one day a week. No. I started 1 day a week. And then, I see how I feel, and I increase it to 2 days and 3 days and 4 days, and then I could do 1 week, and then I was good.
And it's two people with a plant-based diet then. What advice would you have for somebody who's trying to make the switch? Because I really love meat. Like, the taste is amazing. Like, beyond the taste.
I'd say start with 1 meal a day and start with interesting meals. Cause when people think vegan, them think veggie chunks. And them think
like some cliche stuff.
Because
cabbage and collard.
And like my coworkers, they legit say like they're the worst. No, they're the best, but at the same time they're the worst. So when I'm hungry, they legit go outside and pick tree leaf and say, Ariel, eat that. And I'm like, you guys. Right? But no. Start with like 1 meal a day and an interesting meal. Like try curry chickpeas or curry lentils, something like that.
My boss told me that your plate has to be like
colorful, right?
You want to eat before
your eyes eat before your belly eats, really. So make sure that your plate is very colorful, lots of reds, yellows, greens. Eat your greens, guys. And then take it from there and see how you feel, because a lot of people do what they cut cold turkey, and depending on your body, you can get sick. I wouldn't advise cutting cold turkey.
I did that. So the first time I tried to go vegan, I cut cold turkey. If you do it like that, you're just gonna go straight back.
Yeah.
Because you never gave yourself a chance to get used.
I cut cold turkey. I was doing the whole lifestyle, working out, losing weight, feeling good. Like, it actually feels good, and I see the difference because you're more energetic. You feel more alive.
You don't feel heavy.
You don't feel heavy. You don't feel tired. Like you don't feel tired at like 3 p.m. or like you know you have energy. You feel alive. And I was like, whoa, there's truth to this. My skin started clearing up, but then I was just craving meat one day. And then I went to Wendy's and I bought like a 20-piece nuggets and like
Jesus,
a
well, no.
That's what happens when you
and then it just continued. It was
And then back to that whole self-love thing too. The one thing that sealed the deal for me when I was converting was I ate a piece of KFC chicken one day and the oil dropped right here, so on my chest. Me said, no, this is heart attack. Me I kill off myself.
Like, there's so much. You know, your body actually takes more respiratory energy to process the meat.
Oh, it tastes so good.
So that's why, as a meat eater, you have less energy than somebody who doesn't eat meat, because your body have to work a lot harder. Our bodies aren't really designed to eat, you know.
The tips: do it slowly, gradually. Start with 1 meal a day.
Yeah.
I have a transition method I would suggest too.
Okay.
Because what I would say is a method to not go cold turkey.
Definitely.
Is to cut out chicken, red meat, and just stick to fish for a little while. Just be like pescatarian for a while. And then pescatarian itself is also not all that healthy, because fish tends to be like, they have a lot of
I tried pescatarian.
like mercury and lead and them something in there. It's not all that healthy. But what you can do is just wean yourself off of the meat and just eat probably things like saltfish or if anything, just stick to chicken alone, and then diminish your chicken intake. And then little by little, like what she's saying, just lessen the amount of time that you eat meat, and then eventually you'll find that you can do vegan a lot easier.
And another thing too, because it's good that people research and find out why they're doing it for themselves. Find somebody to follow who,
like a mentor.
Yeah, like a mentor who is going through the process and can, everything okay? Okay, who is going through the process and can teach them about the do's and don'ts, like what? So, you guys have any resources, any blogs you read? You talked about like YouTube, even though she is more like lifestyle.
She's more lifestyle.
But who, like Camilla McDonald, like who can people go to learn from? Who did you guys learn from?
I have a lot of YouTubers I learn from. I know for sure
the
person I
in
watch.
Jamaica too. Like, where do we eat?
Yeah, for real.
So I never really learn from anybody, because I'm a nerd. I'll go do research myself, and that's another thing too. I would suggest find your reason for wanting to go plant-based. I know for me, when I learned about the factory farming industry and what happens in it, that for me was my conviction to say,
the poem about the shrimp,
the salmon,
the salmon. Oh, that was so sad.
For me, that was my conviction to say, okay, this
You need
is.
to send me that.
It's a poem written.
The salmon. How did they kill the salmon?
It's a poem written by Quaint, and it's pretty much talking about salmon farming in Canada. And it's long and short. They get all them in a net. They separate the male from the females. They harvest the eggs and harvest the sperm, fuse everything, and then they let both male and female back into the sea. And then you see a big pool of blood in the water. And the poem ends with a female salmon jumping upstream to lay her eggs, but she has no eggs to lay, and so all she's pushing out is air, and then she eventually dies.
Wow.
That is what happens. I read that poem and it brought tears to my eyes.
The resources for vegan. The vegan.
Camilla McDonald is a good resource, of course. It's actually from her I learned to make one of my vegan vinaigrettes and thing. And then just go in the kitchen and explore. Explore with ingredients, explore with seasonings, explore with herbs and spices, And for me, I learned when I did that, I learned that meat is a texture. I can manipulate peas and thing to taste the same as meat. Cause me cook curry lentils and I swear it tastes like curry.
Don't it? So like I will cook chickpeas, curry chickpeas, and it tastes like curry chicken. Like if I use what the pot, oil in it, I'm just like, stir that smell like a curry chicken. Then
for real.
And it just tastes so. It tastes good. It looks good. It smells good. I remember.
I started this journey 2016. I started the journey. Oh my gosh! And what did kill me? What did solidify for me? Because I don't want to dairy either. So I used to drink religiously every night before I went to bed because alcohol puts me to sleep. So when I can't sleep, I just drink a glass and go to bed. Completely. And when people come and tell me, "Oh, Ariel, alcohol isn't healthy," like alcohol is plant-based, guys. I'm fine. I have a glass a day. I'm good. I'm not dying. But anyway, we're not here to talk about my wine drinking and my alcohol consumption. It's not an addiction. Addiction has such negative connotations. Anyway, so I used to drink like a glass of Baileys at night time, and 6 months after taking dairy out my life, I go back go drink a glass of Baileys before I go down and migraine for 3 days. I'm like, that was traumatizing. I'm like, video Baileys.
That's what happened to me when I cut off soda.
I was traumatized.
Yeah. What are your tips, Gabby?
My tips for resources, there's this channel on YouTube called Pick Up Limes.
Okay.
So Pick Up Limes, Limes. I believe she's an Indian. She actually gives a lot of really nice recipes, and from her you will end up finding other resources in terms of the suggested or recommendations that will come up at the side. And she's good for vegan ideas for like food.
Yeah.
I would also suggest Pinterest. Literally just type in vegan food ideas.
For real.
And then if you want facts on being vegan and why and its comparison to being a meat eater, you could watch Mick the Vegan on YouTube as well, which is MIC the Vegan. So what he does is that he finds statistics and compares them and then presents them to you to show, like let's say for example he would talk about meat eating diet being linked to acne, or dairy being linked to acne, or vegan men versus non-vegan men.
I think I've come across this.
He does that kind of comparison and he has statistics to back it up. So if you're looking for justification to be vegan, you can watch that channel and then it will be like, wow.
What about the people who say it's too expensive?
That's rubbish. I'd like to rubbish that idea right now. You can easily go to your supermarket. You will find a pack of Goya chickpeas for less than $400, less than $500.
Compared to how much a pound is it for chicken?
Exactly, compared to how much for oxtail. You can buy 3 cans of black beans for $600-700, and then let's go to the market, right? So yeah, 5 bills. You did that.
I actually did a story on my Instagram where I was telling people that we spend like probably $4,800 for buying 2 weeks worth of food.
Exactly.
Now, if you go into the supermarket, all they can buy with that is probably just 2 meals.
I want to go with you.
Coronation Market.
No, seriously, I want to go with you.
You're gonna have a market day.
Because I just spent $12,000 on 2 weeks worth of food.
My girl,
I could spend $12,000 for a month's worth of
easily.
Food. As a matter of fact, we can spend $10,000 or $8,000 for a month's worth of food.
Easily.
Like a lot of times we don't know that. You see, when we're told that being a vegan is expensive, you see, if you're buying a vegan food in the supermarket, of course it's expensive because they're buying their stuff from overseas and adding a crazy markup.
Yeah,
the same chickpeas right now for $400 for a pack. You can go downtown, get that same chickpeas for probably $200 for a pack.
Okay, I'm serious. We're going shopping together. Okay. So to wrap it up, I wanted to ask you, Gabrielle, my 2 closing questions that I ask all my guests. So the first one, I want to know what's the impact you want to have on Jamaica with your brand, your business, and your personal brand. Because I see that you're giving people advice now, like you're making IGTV videos about personal development and all that, and I love it. So what's the impact you want to have?
Alright, so I noticed with myself that I'm naturally a giver in terms of giving advice and information, because my growing up, I didn't know myself the way that I do now, and I didn't know personal development. So I want other people to know about personal development too. I want other people to know that when you work on yourself from the inside, you will evolve into a beautiful being that will be able to impact other people. So the advice that I give on my Instagram is to help people to know, one, that they can break away from the whole system that we have been taught to subscribe to, in terms of we can have different careers than what we were told that we need to have. We can look different ways that we were told that we need to look. We can just, overall, we are free to be who we want to be. And we create the person that we put out there. So I just want to teach people that self-development and personal development is where it starts. And self-development and personal development has a lot under it. It's one big umbrella.
Mind-blowing.
Exactly. Yeah. Because it changed my life. So I want other people to experience it and know that it can change their life too.
And the sooner you do it, the better to avoid polypacras.
Exactly. Because your relationship with yourself affects all the relationships you have in your life.
Okay. Final question. If you had to give our audience one piece of advice, what would that be?
Okay. So I think it should be connected with what I just said.
Okay.
Everything starts with self.
Self.
You are the person who it starts with. So, if you find a problem in someone else, there's a great possibility that there's something in yourself that you need to fix. So, understand that the way that you view the world always has to do with your own internal environment. So, work on your internal environment. That will influence every other part of your life. You make more money, you will attract more love, you will attract more fun, more joy and laughter, and your life will just be a lot better. So, just work on yourself. Try to figure out the things about you that you probably need to work on, your weaknesses, your shortcomings. Embrace yourself fully and accept yourself. Observe yourself and be aware of yourself, because everything starts with awareness. When you know what you need to be working on, you're able to work on it, as opposed to when you're just like oblivious and you don't know what going on. So pay attention to yourself and do what you need to do to evolve into a better person.
Pay attention to the influences in your life and all that.
Because the people you keep around you, they ultimately inspire who you become.
Right. Thank you guys. This was a good episode. Okay guys, thank you so much for watching that episode. If you loved it, please hit the like button so that YouTube will know that you like our content and will show you more of it. Also subscribe and hit the notification bell so that you can get updates when we do upload new content. And finally, leave some love in the comments. Let me know where you're from, what your takeaways were from the episode, what you'd like to hear more of, who you'd like to see me interview. I'm here for you. So let me know, give me feedback. I'm open to it. Thank you for watching. Love you guys. See you next episode.